Hi, today I would try to explain how to break, how to stop 3 kilo, 3,000 tons. (1869), 154 years ago, George Westinghouse invents a railroad braking system which revolutionized rail safety ever. How it happened? Let me explain. First, imagine a winter scenery with a father. Here we have a snowdrop. The sun is shining. And the father is pulling, let's say, 3 sleds with kids on each and every one, connected one by one. It seems to be a very cheerful prospect for sure for kids, and probably less cheerful for the father after a long time. The whole scenario will suddenly change when the father, pulling the children on the sleds, orders a break, or when the father stops suddenly. Then the idea is to stop the whole unit all at once, all together. Otherwise, we will run into each other, bumps, and there we have a collision. Similarly, you can imagine a problem related to the methodology of braking and stopping a multi-thousand-ton train. At the very beginning of railway history, it's been a huge, huge problem how to stop the whole train. Because you have to remember that the very, very low rolling resistance, the steel wheel on the steel truck makes it very easy to set a few thousand tons in motion. But at early days of railway business such, no developed, nor safe, nor efficient braking system existed. The first solution to the problem of braking the train was based upon connecting a railway wagons say those are the rolling stock wagons, cars. And here we have a locomotive. The very first solution was and were based upon connecting each and every wagon behind the locomotive with a special cable wire, which, when pulled by the driver, at the time of braking procedure, was to trigger the braking process of all cars. But the problem was the slack on the cables, and the problem was triggering itself. It was also time-consuming to connect cables and the wagons, cables and the wagons, cables and the wagons, and disconnect upon arrival at the destination. Such overhead lines were operational, but far from reliable. They often broke, and it was difficult to consider the system as being effective nor safe. No accuracy, no fixing. A revolutionary solution was invented by George Westinghouse, 1869, American engineer. His brilliant idea has basically remained unchanged ever since, although modernized, but still in use today throughout the railway world so far. So far, no one has come up with anything better than his idea 154 years ago. Let us underline that 1869 George Westinghouse invented a railway braking system which revolutionized rail safety ever. How come? First, he witnessed a horrible accident, and in consequence, he came up with a solution how to get the train to stop quickly. At that time, in his area, US, the trains were stopped by people, mainly impoverished boys, hired specially to stay on top on each and every wagon behind the locomotive. You will have a boy, you will have a boy sitting on the top, you will have a boy sitting on the top, and here we have a boy sitting on the top. They lay or sit at the top of each train cars, turning mechanically the brake wheels to trigger the braking system upon the signal from the driver. Such practice slowed trains, that's correct, but very gradually and not simultaneously, and as a result, in many fatalities. This is because when the trains crashed, the boys fall down, and there has been a lot of fatalities. The business was very dangerous, and such an accident has been witnessed by George Westinghouse. Sometimes, when traveling by train, you can see on the roadside a wagon, okay, which look very messy because something is hanging from its both sides, in front and at the rear. Some kind of a rubber hose and chains, and here we have a rubber hose and chains. And you may probably think that these are some kind of torn or devastated elements. Well, nothing could be more wrong. This is correct. Imagine the image is okay. At the end and at the front of every car, you have a rubber hose. Each and every railway vehicle, locomotive or wagon, has a such rubber hose at the front and at the rear, which is used to be connected with the second same hose, the preceding wagon or the following wagon, and so on and so on. it's time to return to the idea of Mr. Westinghouse. What was he all about? His idea is very brilliant, simple and practical, and it consists in the fact that the whole train is connected along the entire length with a special rubber hose. So here we have a locomotive, wagon, railway car wagon, railway car wagon, railway car wagon. And we have a special rubber line from the locomotive throughout the railway car connection, railway car connection, railway car connection, railway car connection, dead end. On the entire length, we have a special rubber hose connecting the whole unit as one. And within the hose, we have the air pressure compressed up to 5 atmosphere. So the entire train is connected by a pipeline, and there is a high pressure within it. Okay? Before starting the journey of the train, each driver needs to do is to fill this pipeline along the full length of the entire train with the air pressure. And now the magic begins, namely braking. The idea of Westinghouse is about dropping the air, pss, 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 dropping the air from this rubber hose wherever, here, 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 or here, or by the driver. So how exactly? What is going on while braking? Simply, each and every car, each and every wagon has a special cylinder and a piston within. Let's say some auxiliary air tank. Let me explain here. Here we have a wagon. Here we have wheels. Here we have a rubber hose going below. And here we have additional air tank and a special piston within. Here we have within the rubber 5 atmosphere pressure. In this chamber we have 5 atmosphere pressure. This chamber is closed. This chamber is open. So in case of a pressure drops within the hose, pressure drops within this chamber, but not with this one. So if this is the chamber where we have 5 atmosphere, here the pressure is lowering because of some kind of a process here, as this piston moves to the left. Okay? So the solution is the braking begins with the loss of pressure. Upon the loss of pressure, piston moves and press the brake pads by pressing them to the surface of the wheel. Of the car, just like in normal cars or bicycles. In this description, we put and specially emphasize on the solution that says that braking begins with loss of pressure in the entire system, and it means braking is stronger the greater the pressure loss. A slight pressure drop is a slight braking, and a large pressure drop in the system is the stronger braking. Someone may ask if it shouldn't be the other way around. Say, just like in cars, when the increase of pressure is followed by harder braking. The more you press pedal, the more you press the pedal within the car, the stronger the brake procedure. Nothing could be far from the truth in railway business. In railway business, it's opposite. The stronger the greater the pressure loss, the stronger the greater braking procedure. How come? Westinghouse invented it very well. Think about advantages of such a solution. First of all, upon the drive preparations, the procedure of filling the system with air pressure before each ride, when the wagons are already coupled and connected altogether to one unit, fulfilling the pipeline with 5 atmosphere pressure guarantees check and tightness of the braking system itself. The rolling stock inspector, walking around the entire train from both sides, will hear hissing pressure loss indicating a failure, and in specific place, which allows to precisely locate and disconnect in advance the faulty element. Second, driver himself will see on the pressure gauge whether the pressure is dropping or braking system is operational. He would observe whether the pressure system stays or diminished. That means braking system is checked. Third advantage of such a solution, and the most important, that in the event of accident, derailment or disconnecting of any part of the train while driving, the rubber connections, the rubber pipeline, the rubber line would break, and the pressure, the entire system automatically drops, which immediately and automatically implements full automatic simultaneous braking of all units, including locomotive. Okay? So simple and practical. The change in pressure in the line moves in the rubber pipeline with the speed of the sound. That means 300 meters per second. So the whole train has a chance to brake simultaneously at the same time. You have to remember that physically there is no such a possibility. You have a locomotive, you have cars, railway wagons. Okay? Still wheels, still wheels, still wheels. Physically, there is no possibility that the brake discs or parts of the locomotive itself could dissipate the entire energy released while braking the entire train. That means that's why the train always brakes as a whole, as a one unit. So we have a braking system within the locomotive and cars itself. How come? Because the energy of the whole system equals mass and speed square. That means the more mass, the more square speed, the bigger energy the unit. Okay? Westinghouse idea, which described today, follows the fail-safe procedure. What is that? Fail-safe principle that is, nowadays, observed within military or nuclear space or space business. That principle, based upon elaborating devices, designing devices, as if in the event of a failure, it always could abort the mission and automatically behave in a way that is safe for the people. That means the chain event, would be dropped, aborted here. The whole procedure goes back to the safety mode. Someone may ask that if among these 40 cars, say 40 cars, here we have a locomotive and 40 cars. Someone may say that, for example, that in the middle, say the 25th car turns to be defective. Then what? Are we going to have fun in unhooking and coupling this train hole once again? It turns out that not necessarily. No, because there is a way to do it. Namely, each car has something that we would call a bypass. Something that in short allows to continue this pipeline, avoiding this very veiled element. So the pressure within the pipeline continues to the very end, and this very particular wagon is disconnected. Then someone might be right saying that in case of starting braking, these, say, 40 cars, the 39, only 39 would proceed braking, and the one would be pushing and would be pulling by the others. Yes, this one single car would not take part in braking procedure. That is true, but there is a required minimum braking mass calculated each and every time, which allows physically and accordingly to procedures that say a one wagon, one single car might run within the unit without active brakes. on a given rolling stock. The train unit as a whole would be still operational and successful upon braking, which does not change the fact that the affected wagon receives an order for repair. But the repair itself can be performed after transport work is completed. There is only one such if there is only one or two or three such wagons, defective wagons, it does not have much influence to the whole train while braking. In short, George Westinghouse, 1869, 154 years ago, witnessed a horrible train accident and then came upon with a solution how to get the train stopped quickly. Westinghouse invention based upon a compressed air, which release brakes. If air pressure was lowered or accidentally leaked, then the brakes would activate. This system is the root of modern rail braking system all over the world. Thank you very much. See you next time.